Good evening. You are watching news from the Red Square, and today we are going to tell you the most relevant news of Russia. The Kremlin has decided to begin systematic work against Alexei Navalny. Administration of political control will be in charge. The decision was taken after protests on the 26th of March and the sharp fall of the rating of Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev. Among the methods of discrediting are rollers exposing Navalny. Press Secretary of the President Dmitry Peskov didn't answer the question of the rain on the plans of the Kremlin against Navalny. For a long time, the current leadership of the political unit of the presidential administration refused to see Navalny as a real threat. According to our anonymous sources, the situation changed dramatically in March after the movie He Is Not Demon, on prospectively associated with Dmitry Medvedev assets. This film, covering corruption, set up protests on the 26th of March, where participated thousands of people. The same measures were taken by the government against Mikhail Kasyanov. A campaign was initiated on the federal channels. The question of the effectiveness of these actions was discussed at the Kremlin meetings, and many recognized that such measures may not give the desired effect and will only lead to the fact that Navalny will attract more attention. So, we are waiting for the answer of Navalny.
But not only the Russians are suffering from the government's mentally challenged movements. Americans have to become Chinese people because the decree of Trump has already published. He said that American goods should be called American after it is made in the USA.
The President of the United States, Donald Trump, intends to support domestic producers. The corresponding decree is ready. This point-election program, unlike many others, still think the new administration is relevant. At least they are consistent, although too presumptuous. If the production transfer to USA, prices on many goods will increase, because imported items are usually win as they are cheap. Ordinary people are already asking whether there are any production in USA except the military industry and the Fed. Because the American name of company doesn't mean that they made their product somewhere not in China. And the question is whether Americans are ready to take the places of those Chinese citizens and release it all on their territory and on their own.
So we hope the Americans will find the solution.
But this is not the only one funny story from the USA. During one of the most exciting celebrations in America, Easter egg roll, Donald Trump was upstaged by a giant and creepy Easter bunny, and the internet thoroughly enjoyed it.
Donald Trump hosted the annual Easter egg roll at the White House on Monday, but while the president was busy sending warnings to North Korea and upsetting little kids, onlookers were distracted by something else altogether. Trump addressed the crowd at the annual Easter egg roll from the Truman balcony of the White House, joined by wife Melania, son Barron, and the Easter Bunny.
We will be stronger and bigger and better as a nation than ever before.
Not one to let a Trump photo call pass without creating a new meme, Twitter was quick to react to the unsettling scenario.
So we are waiting for new memes with Trump.
But not only bunnies interrupts on TV. Do you know that the famous Russian journalist Leonid Parfenov comes back on Russian TV after a long break? His new show calls The Other Day in Karaoke and sends us to his show The Other Day. This show was on the first TV channel from 1999 to 2004.
His new show will combine two formats, information and analytical of the program The Other Day and the entertaining format of the program Old Songs about the main themes. You can see the show weekly on our TVI channel. In each release of the show, Leonid Parfenov will discuss some historical period which is connected with some famous song with the guest of the show. After that, they both will sing that song. At that time, they are working on creating 40 new issues of the show. First of them you can see on TV this May, in the beginning of June.
You can put your thumbs up this summer.
What the hell is going outside?
Today, Moscow meteorologists announced yellow weather rate. Vasilisa Kuznetsova with more details.
Good morning. Hello, dear friends. It's the weather on the sofa, and I'm going to tell you about the weather in Moscow today, tomorrow, and the next week. A sunny but frosty day is expected in the capital on Wednesday. The Scandinavian anticyclone will determine the weather. It brought in Moscow icy air but saved the city from the rain. In general, today in Moscow is 4 degrees Celsius of heat, sunny and mostly without precipitation. Tomorrow the air temperature will not change, but it will be cloudy and light rainy. Weather forecasters advise to be careful if you have pressure problems. I know how tired you are from this hell outside, and I want to please you that the weather is going to become better. The air will warm up to 10 degrees by the end of the week, and by the middle of the next week, the temperature is expected to reach 15 degrees Celsius. But we still cannot get rid of the rain. Prepare your umbrellas, you will need them. And the sponsor of our program is Russian Railways. Russian Railways. Buy a ticket somewhere in Volgograd, there's now at least no rain. So that's all I have for you. With the weather on the sofa was Vasilisa Kuznetsova. See you soon. Goodbye.
Big fat mama with the beat shaking on her bone.